everyone, and welcome back. It's the Dota 2 Asia Championships 2015. I'm KotLGuy, and we're bringing you the English coverage over here at Beyond the Summit 2. And, well, we got a good one for you. It's going to be LGD Gaming taking on Hellraisers. We are in the 6th heat on this fine and early morning here in New York City. It is now 7 a.m. The sun is coming up, and it is wonderful. Just wonderful. So, joining me on this wonderful adventure is going to be good buddy. I have Basskip back. I said it right. Slap into base. Basskip. I can't believe I have to think that hard about it. I feel terrible. Cameron, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to hear that you're doing well as well.
Thanks, man. I know.
I know it's been a rough couple of days, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going mad sometimes, but it's okay. I actually really am enjoying it because lately the Dota's been actually getting pretty good. So we're getting into the meat of the group stages. So with that, if you haven't been noticing anyone out there living under a rock not watching your Dota, we got Team Secret still at the top, 12-0, undefeated. It's unbelievable. Newbies, the big surprise and big upset, but here in kind of the middle ground now, we have LGD Gaming at 6-6 and Hellraisers at 6-6. This is where things get very interesting because, you're going to make it into the upper bracket, but where you're seated can determine how successful you'll be in that bracket.
Yeah, and both of these teams have Brave nipping at their heels as well. If Brave win their match in this current round, then they'll be up to 6-6, and one of these two teams will be dropping down to 6-7. So there's still some mobility there, and for some of these teams, they aren't even guaranteed to necessarily make top 8. So definitely a very interesting match, like you said.
I'm looking forward to how things are going to begin to develop. We only have like one more day of group stage action. We have shaved off 2 of the last matches from originally yesterday's schedule and today's, and it's going to be moved to tomorrow. So we have more Dota games happening there, and then with tiebreakers, we'll see how long the day or night can be. And for my sake, hopefully we don't have too many tiebreakers. But if I got to do it the whole way, then I'm in it for the long haul. So let's talk about this match, though. I would almost make it maybe I haven't looked at Dota 2 Lounge, but I'm thinking like 60-40 for LGD. Well, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I might even set it a little bit closer and say like 55, 45, something like that. I think the big thing is going to be that LGD have been playing a slightly slower style this entire tournament. From what I've seen, they've been picking the Ember, they've been pretty much only picking hard farmers for Sylar. He's had one game on Jug, but everything else has been Morphling or Anti-Mage or Medusa. Yeah. So in general, their style's been a little bit slower. Meanwhile, Hellraisers, they're just all action, all aggression, all the time.
Yeah,
exactly.
The definition of it, just get in your face to get the job done, be man mode. So this is going to be an interesting way to see these two play styles kind of clash, and if the more methodical play from LGD will withstand the heavy pressure of Hellraisers. So I'm looking forward to it. You couldn't add for more pressure than someone like a Juggernaut, which is going to get picked up. They lead in with the Rubik. They did this on just their last heat. I remember I caught it on BTS1. They prioritized getting the first pick Rubik there. I guess they just really, really love it on Dread. And for LGD, they don't get the Wisp that usually they kind of sneak in there. They actually ban it right there, and they get a hold of Lion and follow it with the Ember Spirit. So, all right, interesting start in from both sides, getting one support and one core.
Yeah, I think in general, I was looking at Hellraiser's drafts, and they pretty much always grab at least the one support in the first 2 picks. I don't think they've really broken that formula all that much. They have even had some drafts where they've gone just all in on the supports in the first 2. And as much as Rubik is a little bit surprising, he's been picking up a lot of momentum this tournament, I would say. We've been seeing lots and lots of very impressive Rubik play out of FY and Vanscore and stuff like that. So. And it's also pretty well positioned so far, and Kuroki as well. Can't forget him.
Yeah. They don't make a set after him for nothing. But no. Yeah, the same thing happened even in Star Ladder. It was like slowly Rubik developed through the time, and we were seeing Aloha Dance do insane Rubik plays. I remember there was one where he stole the Scream of Pain and completely flipped the fight around. It was absolutely unbelievable. So with that, they get a hold of this prized Rubik we've been boasting about, but they have also rounded out and got the Omni Knight here. So a few teams been utilizing that, and wow, what a strike back. Oh, you like the heal. You like that, don't you? Well, I got AA. And then they quick fire with a Night Stalker. Wow, this is going pretty damn fast.
Yeah, really quick draft. So like you said, Ancient Apparition, pretty good to have against the Healing Ward, pretty good to have against the Burst Heal from the Omni as well. Night Stalker, a hero that I've seen occasionally this version, and something back when the initial changes went through, people were really hyping up and was being pretty heavily drafted. He's been a little bit more quiet recently, but I think looking at the first three heroes that LGD have grabbed, the Night Stalker makes a ton of sense. Long Duration Silence, great to have against the two supports in the Ember, and I think it fits Hellraiser's playstyle beautifully, and just in running around, setting up kills, and just always being on the aggressive.
Yeah, I love having aggressive here. Almost bipolars here between Omni Knight and Night Stalker in themselves. But the one thing I don't like about this hero is every time he comes into a game, there's some sort of discussion about his ultimate, and then I forget it completely, and then someone on Twitter like, actually, what it is like this, and I'm like, okay, come on. I know what it is. I have the highlighted notes here right even in front of me on my face, just to make sure. Like the second I saw him picked up, I pulled out my notebook so quick, you wouldn't believe it. So just in case. But yeah, I love the hero being able to restrict vision, wards, and even the enemy, sight themselves to 650. When you got heroes that rely on being able to initiate and lead things off, when you're stuck in the dark, that becomes really, really hard. So even picking up the Clockwork is a bit finicky, being able to find that target to kind of initiate on.
Yeah, so I think the Clockwork's nice. Gives them a little bit of vision off the Rocket Flare, and like you said, they're going to be in the dark quite a bit against the Night Stalker. And also just great to have against the triple melee so far from Hellraisers. Keep the Night Stalker and the Juggernaut away from your squishies as much as you can. So, and LGD in general, they tend to go for these, I guess, more traditional offlaners in the Clockwork, Tide, things like that. Injulai's really been playing pretty much Bat, Tide, a little bit of Bristle, a little bit of Doom, but he's really had to make space for the full cores that Yao and Sylar are typically playing. So we'll see how this goes for LGD. And it's weird that you mentioned Omni Knight as perhaps being a little bit opposed to the Night Stalker in terms of playstyle, because I think you got to think of the Omni Knight as like the Night Stalker's coach, right? He's patting him on the back, he's putting the rappel on, he's telling him to get in there, and just sending him on his way. So I think they make a pretty good team. Yeah. So we'll see how Hellraisers round this out.
Well, I agree with that. Night Stalker, any opportunity to not have to kind of blitz into a BKB right off the bat and feel a bit more free about doing those aggressive dives. But oh ho ho, Hellraisers really got a lot of people excited when they pulled out a Warlock before, and they grab it here, the fifth and final grab, and what looks like it will be the core Warlock. Once this guy's able to throw together his nice and pinnacle Agnum Scepter, destruction comes, and it could be quite ridiculous here. This is actually going to be my first time seeing the core Warlock come on out from the cast. I know I've heard of it on the other games, but I'm getting excited right now. This is great.
Remaining.
Yeah, they've picked it twice, and it's won twice. So we'll see if they can keep the streak going.
What is it that's going to make Warlock be so effective, even in a lineup like this? I mean, they have a lot of melee heroes who kind of need to get pretty close to get the job done. Is Warlock just there to kind of set everything up, create the stage for an ultimate Hellraiser's bloodbath?
Yeah, I think it's that, and it's giving them the edge on teamfight that they didn't really have necessarily before. They've got a nice big ultimate to play around now, and something to kind of frighten LGD if if a big 5-on-5 standoff happens. And also it's just even more sustain. I think at this stage, if Hellraisers win a team fight at all, they can just immediately pick themselves back up with Omni, the Healing Ward, and the Warlock heal, and just keep going and keep picking up towers and keep finding kills. And I think that's exactly just how they love to play Dota. So looking forward to it. And well, LGD, it wouldn't be a game without Sylar on some hard farmer, so they're going to wrap it up with Anti-Mage here.
Sylar loves that nerd sweat, being able to really dig out those creeps, pull together the money, and then be a real pain in the ass in the late game. So this just suits that playstyle that we've come to know, and it's going to be on LGD and the other four to make sure they create that space, stall out if necessary. And there is, yeah, a ton of heal and a ton of sustain on Hellraisers. Once they commit to fights, they're in it for the long haul. Hopefully, he surely can't hit all of us with an Ice Blast, right? Well, they'll hope so at that point if they want to keep all that sustain. So looking forward to this one here. Pretty much, you can almost say a coin flip's chance for either team to really upset each other, but they both surely need the win as they're in the middle of this round robin. I'm excited, man. Remaining. Any predictions here?
I like Hellraisers more from the draft, honestly. I don't think LGD have a particularly good way to deal with the Omni Knight. Ember can kind of buy a Diffusal Blade, but that's a little bit dicey, and I'd say in general, Night Stalker isn't too unhappy playing against AM. Can put some good pressure down, and if he gets silenced, he's just dead. If he doesn't have his Manta style, so yeah, looking. I like HR, but both of these teams have had some problems with throws so far this tournament, so we'll see.
I'm gonna have to do a good old DC re-see here, because apparently I'm in a slideshow Dota.
No, everybody is completely just yeah, sliding around for me as well.
Did it end up working out okay?
No, we've updated once. It's like one set of movement, one update every 10 seconds or so.
I'm good right now. So
oh yeah, I'll try the old reconnect.
Yeah, do it. I think it will work things out. So while you do that, we might as well just lead off some introductions here. I'll start things off. Radiant side, we got the Hellraiser squad, and it's going to be Goric, but Gorietz, as I was told apparently by Vlad himself, is the proper pronunciation here. He's going to be playing your Night Stalker. Just behind him, we got Dread, the streamer, and well, he's going to be playing your Omni Knight. We got Gotham, or Goddamn, playing your Rubik, and they see a Sylar. They move on to him. He levels up the Blink, and he says, oh my god, I got to get the hell back. So he will. Anyways, rest of Hellraisers here. We got Afo Ninja, going to be playing your Warlock, and on the bottom, scouting out the rune. Right next to Injali is going to be Artez, and it looks like, oh, give me that rune, get the hell off. Bounty is going to be picked up by Artez. That means Hellraisers secure both of them. Very well done. Did you make it back in?
For them. Yep, I'm back, and everything is A-OK.
Awesome.
Nice. So on LGD, we have Faith on Ancient Apparition. We have Mamaya, or X, or MMY, whatever you want to call him, on Lion. We've got Sylar on the Anti-Mage. We've got Yao on his signature Ember Spirit. And we've got Injali in the Offlane and Clockwork. So some very comfortable heroes, I would say, all around for LGD this game. Sylar AM, Yao Ember, MMY Lion. Things are looking good for them as well from the draft.
I gotta ask you, if you click on Clockwork, does his portrait look like right at you with a really evil look, or is that just mine that's all wigged out?
No, that's how it goes, apparently.
Wow, he is. Okay, that's crazy. Well, really cool set for him. Top, they continue to trade a little bit of early blows, and Gorietz is probably very happy that he has Dread nearby, and Dread's going to be the babysitter. He just waits back, and if things get too crazy, he'll dish out a heal if necessary. But he actually started off with the Repel, so he'll lead in with that one. I'm sure soon enough he'll get that level 2 and work from there.
Yeah, I think the Repel's actually pretty nice here. Prevents, Hex into Cold Feet going off, and just means that HR can get up in LGD's face right from the start. It should be interesting to see how this 2v3 plays out. Anti-Mage does actually have quite a bit to contribute, and it's a really tough positioning game, I would say, for Dread, because if he gets jumped, then there's very little that the Night Stalker can do to save him. I mean, he may actually just get completely mana burned out by the time he even pops out of the Hex. So he's really got to be on his toes.
And they can just have firm control, at least till 4 minutes does drop. Then it's going to be the first Nightfall, and we'll see if Night Stalker maybe looks to go on the aggressive, could get some assistance if a rotation is to come from, like, the Rubik, let's say, up to that top lane. Which, touching base with him, it looks like we're going to get back and underway. Small hiccup of lag, apparently, from the players. But he's on ward pull duty, and it looks like they're going to split it between both. But Injali is going to try to sap some of these creeps, take them away, try to get hold of some XP, and looks like he's not doing that bad of a job.
Yeah, they're just going to try and make this lane as chaotic as they possibly can, and just keep eyes on the supports at all times. Faith and MMY have a pretty good ganking combo between them, so making sure that they're up here and not pressuring the Warlock, who's very, very vulnerable, or potentially making their way all the way down to the safe lane to look for a gank, I think is well worth it here for HR. Looking at mid lane, initially I thought this lane was going to be pretty good for the Warlock. He's got really good base damage. He's got a lot of damage to lay out harass-wise as well with Shadow Word, and even potentially picking up an early point in the bonds. But Yao is just so good at Ember, and he's already got his early CS, so I think he's pretty secure in this lane already.
Holding his own, Warlock there to get what he can. Has the extra bit of sustaining with himself, but yeah, getting those levels, getting that rock. So one thing is that I was always under the impression, and when I was thinking in the past, like, why does no one even bring back the mid Warlock anymore when it wasn't being shown, is that there was just too much around his ultimate. Like, if he's not successful with it, or during the downtime, that's just when he's at his weakest. Is there something different about that now, or is it just that's still the same case, but he's been buffed quite a bit, and they found ways to make it work.
Yeah, he's been receiving the occasional buff, and I think it's only been recently that people have started running the core warlock and experimenting it with it a little bit more. I would say the other thing for this patch is we're seeing lots of big physical damage dealers and big right clickers and lots of melee heroes, and that's where you've got a lot of grouped up people in a team fight, and you can take full advantage of the chaotic offering and the fatal bond. So that might be part of his resurgence as well, just this particular version.
Well, we'll see if it's going to be successful here for Hellraisers, as we do have a bit of a slow start for both teams. 3 minutes in, relatively quiet on the western front. KotLGuy has been dipping into quite a lot of regen here. Sylar probably knows that and wants to make sure he keeps him in check as far as mana goes. An occasional pot shot here and there if necessary, and Dread knows he's not going to get a lot as far as CS, just kind of there on the side to leech a bit and be there in case they do try to make any sort of fancy moves here. But that means in about 20 seconds, Nightfall is going to come down, and we'll see if the body language changes at all here for Hellraisers.
Yeah, at the moment, they might be able to go for a gank during the first night. Nightstalker probably still wants his level 4. Doesn't have a point in the Crippling Fear just yet. Ninja is going to get clipped bottom. Nicely played there by Goddamn. Seeing him going for the 4-minute rune and just puts him up into timeout.
Wow, wow, wow. So he is done for, at least for now, with no TP. Here comes the Courier of Shame. I'm sorry, buddy, but Goddamn is not going to let him have it easy. He even has an Invis rune. Oh, okay. Well, he'll wait, see if he gets a TP. When he goes for a TP, he is probably going to be in for a bad time. Let's see if he does it. Does he know he has the rune? He does it. Sorry. Sorry, in July. Yeah, oh god, this is going to suck. So now, Gotham has to run back to the lane, and every once in a while, he'll just make sure he keeps in July in check. How long does he going to be stuck here before he might actually need some assistance from a teammate? Because he's going to be waiting a bit. The TP is going to come. Is it just hope that he can get it on this go?
I don't know. I guess he has to hopefully wait until he sees the Rubik leave. Unfortunately, the warding situation is pretty conservative on bot, so he saw the rune being picked up, but I guess just assumed it was going somewhere else. He takes a swipe at the courier.
If he would have killed it, I would have died laughing. That would have been like the ultimate gotcha back moment, but no, not the case. The courier goes to mid first. Like, I got to get my stuff first. He's like, okay, well then please hurry up. I need a TP. Can't you see the struggle I'm having right here? So he shoots rockets to get what CS it seems like he can, but they are in total control here for now. And here comes MMY. I got you, buddy. I'm coming. He drops what looks like, are they trying to trade off a ward or something? Or eat a tree? This is, or they're creating space for him maybe so that the TP can be delivered. They lift. They throw him away close. Cold Feet's going to force Gotham to stay back. And it looks like Injuly was able to make it back out. So very awkward there for Injuly. He's back to safety. But unfortunately, they have to commit some rotations of supports on LGD.
Yeah, and that's going to make some additional space for the Nightstalker to get some farm top, so he's almost got his level 5, and I think overall that was actually a really big play from Goddamn, and just taking advantage of the clockwork, doing the routine offlane things, check the runes every 2 minutes, apply a little bit of pressure, but also a really nicely placed ward to keep the vision up there and get the second cancel.
You certainly believe anytime I'm going to play Rubik on Radiant side, that ward will be there from now on. I'm going to be doing that to everyone, and they're going to be pissed as hell. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Dread's got a haste, and he is just clocking this Ancient Apparition. And then finally he pulls back the second he might have an inkling someone's near, and we'll use the rest of the haste rune to just get the hell away and plops a ward on the way out.
Yep. And HR are gonna look for this tier 1 tower bottom. I think after that Artez can probably just start jungling, and they can give the lane to the Rubik to pick up his arcane boots and blink, or they can bring the Omni down if they want. Gank mid. Going in. No,
Ninja's got good positioning. It even prompts the defensive TP, but he cancels it. Dread is here still, and he doesn't even actually go with the early value point into Dejanor. Not yet, at least. Value's getting the second point to heal. But he's there still, the bodyguard, if you will, bumping them back and making sure they don't get too aggressive. So LGD, it's a bit shaky at the start, given the Injuly situation, moving people over, and then they try to like maybe salvage with throwing in a gank, but that doesn't work either. So it's a bit sticky right now for LGD.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing any value points in Degen from Dread. This is such a good game to max Repel. LGD's early to mid game damage is almost entirely magical. You know, even even the Ember Spirit just doesn't do any right-click damage in the early game. And if Sylar is participating in fights, then I think things are going wrong for LGD. So just expecting Dread to go pretty standard.
Definitely going to be quite the 4v5, and LGD will just make do with that, and expecting he probably won't have Sylar at the ready for anything. But 8-man Rune's about to spawn here. Ninja, he's got his phase boots and null. Securing that last hit potential, and going with the full 0-4-1-1 kind of a build-up. He has the chaotic offering now. So at this point, do you hold the rock and maybe consider looking for an engagement? Is there a point where you just maybe can drop it and make a quick push for mid lane? I am rusty on seeing my mid lane Warlock.
I think at this point you've got your phase boots, you've got the maxed out Shadow Word. Whenever the Ember returns to the lane, it's pretty easy for you to shove him back. If you look, the CS has actually started to. There's a bit of a gap opening up, 27 versus 48. Yeah. So I think you just sit here. He's got his TP scroll, and he's probably just going to be looking for an opportunity for a TP counter gank. I think outside of that, he's more than happy to just sit here and farm for the time being. Wow, Artez even just going straight into Roshan at the moment. I thought he was just going to go jungle and give the lane to Rubik, but found the double damage, and he's going to try for it.
All right, well, we got the healing ward down. It's only one level of it, and it's just a Morbid Mask, not even a Mask of Madness, but he's going to certainly give it a whirl. Crit. Oh, ow. Wow. He gets good the RNG. Yeah, 535. Bam! Okay, so with that, with luck like that, he'll be able to take this down in no time. But just to echo from what you're saying, yeah, Warlock, you could see his CS getting out of control. 81 plus 33 damage, the phase boots, and already his big base damage certainly helping with that. And of course, you always have that safety net of Dread, who has the TP on hand just in case they try to make some sort of dive play. He's not level 6 quite yet. He's been running around quite a lot, so he is lacking in the XP department. But very easy Roche coming out from HR. LGD certainly were not expecting that.
Yeah, I think if you're LGD, that's definitely a, man, we're going to have to check the replay moment to see exactly how that happened. Because we've seen early Juggernaut solo Roshans, but the double damage definitely made that even more surprising. If I was LGD, I wouldn't have expected Roshan to be taken out that early, but the Juggernaut's really snowballing. We've got pretty good farm on all of HR's cores, and I guess the other big factor to keep in mind for when Warlock's going to try something is the next night is coming up, and that's when HR are really going to look to strike, I think.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I agree. They're probably... Oh, a lot of damage mid lane forces the Remnant back. The Chaotic Offering had to come out. Ninja is actually going to be okay and walks away in what was a bit of a heated scuttle there in the mid lane, but still no blood drawn here. We're actually near 10 minutes with no first blood, mind you. That's how cautious and slow it's been for now. Mildly passive. There's been a couple of swings, but no one's got the knockout.
Yeah, I think it's a consequence of this Omni Night Stalker top. Like we were talking about earlier, they're keeping the LGD supports pinned here, but the Omni Knight is preventing kills, so nothing really too interesting going on the map.
That Jug making the chomp happen on Yao, knowing that he could get away if he tried to do the Omni Slap, so he saves it, but he hits him hard enough that he still will Remnant backing away. Artez hand in hand with this Golem, they're going to add some pressure on the mid lane tower, it would appear, but bottom lane, there's going to make the jump onto got him. He goes ahead and he steals up the chains, throws him back, uses the chains, zaps him in the ass, and here comes the heal from Dread, and now Yao has to back up. He's not going to get that kill. Still no bloodshed, unfortunately.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
That HR gonna be able to take another tier 1 tower, so the gold lead just continues to open up wider and wider, and the next night could be game deciding. If HR starts snowballing and they get a bunch of kills on Gordiets and everything else, then I don't even know if this anti-mage is ever going to get to the stage that he needs to be. So lots of pressure on LGD, and I would say lots of pressure in particular on Injuly to try and make some plays pretty soon. He's got his level 6 now, and yeah, they're going to go straight into a smoke. They know that they have to start pressuring.
He's running right for him, hoping that the blink might be on cooldown. He goes to the low ground here, and he'll find the way out. Oh, very scary. You can feel it now. Hellraisers, they know the momentum they've got. They've taken objective after objective already, and they continue to press towards this top. If you want to fight us, that's fine. We'll drop the rock and use it to take this tier 1 tower, but That's what you got to do against an anti-mage. You don't want to go to late game. You want to just
hook
go
on
ahead.
mid. Dread in trouble.
Oh, they get a hold of Dread, and there's the first blood. Dread gets caught out and taken down, all while the rest of Hellraisers push on that top lane. So the one man left behind gets caught.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So at least the first blood going LGD's way, but they're out of tier 1 towers now. We're into the nighttime, and this is where things get very, very scary for LGD.
Here it comes, Smoke Gang. As the night falls,
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Try to mix the go on to Sylar, but they have the move speed. Popping the Mask of Madness, they just go right for the Omni, and it's an easy pickings for him. Now, they continue to fight. Oh, they consider dropping the upheaval, but then they quickly pull back as the TP is going to be canceled. So there's Yao heading out and away. Hellraisers did a nice pick right there, taking down Sylar. Huge grab.
Yeah, another thing I want to point out is that I think LGD's warding is super optimistic right now. They've got 2 wards on HR's side of the map. HR aren't going to be spending any time on their side of the map. They're going to be spending all of their time on your side of the map. So this is an even scarier nighttime here, I think, for LGD.
Hellraiser's like, we're not farming neutrals, we want to farm you. And now they're making the go onto Yao, who's going to get forced back to the base. The rock gets dropped and in July gets popped. The heal adding on top of that as well. It's Gorius who picks up that one, and now they just clean out the creeps, and they're going to use this golem to take the tower. But yeah, what is farming? This is where we just go, go, go. All right, you're just not going to be ready for our high-octane Dota gaming.
Yeah, I think this is, in particular the warding, but just in general, I don't think LGD can be nearly defensive enough. And yeah, HR just up onto the high ground. Why not? It's only 2-1 in 13 minutes, but...
That upheaval too. Yao thinks he's getting away, but he's silenced up. Oh, July tries to come and save and does. Gorius gets pumped behind the tree. He's actually stuck there. July though gonna get right-clicked and taken down. Sylar comes in. Godam's gonna be broken down, and Sylar drops as well. The crits come through. Yao tries to come in and help out, but he's done for as he needs to walk away. Artez, double kill for your Juggernaut. They don't have the biggest damage to really breach this tier 3, and the death timers are pretty low, so LGD could still push them back. Here comes the TP on in, and that's more than enough. Hellraisers are like, okay, we're done here. Okay, that was a bit too hot. We'll wait a moment.
Yeah, I think they had a game earlier in the group stage where they got ridiculously punished for diving when pushing high ground. Faith. Cancelled and clubbed. Goodbye.
Easy grab. Easy ice there for Gorius.
Yeah, I think they got punished really bad one game where they pushed up onto the high ground and dove tier 4s and they ended up throwing the game as a result. So they're playing a little bit more disciplined since then, but you still see that HR aggression showing through all the time.
Any other maybe smaller scale tournament, they're in the base at the fountain, getting what they can. Who cares if they die? They might have enough for a buyback just in case, but they're a little bit of discipline. They pull away, but they just go back and will continue their assault, taking out the remaining outer towers. They're going to get to tier 2 now on this bottom lane. LGD looking to press and go for a trade themselves. This is a full tier 1 tower here, so it could be tricky. Look at Artez trying to come in from behind. Still has the Omni Slash. He wants the little one. He goes for MMY, but there's creeps. Creeps come and easily mitigate the damage. Sylar's going to get away. Now Artez is going to be in trouble. He drops the ward, and he's like, I got to get the hell on out of here. And he will pull back and away. The rest of Hellraisers, they're en route after taking that tier 2 tower. Trying to see if they can get a hold of anyone. 20 seconds before there's going to be a chaotic offering, though. So, look at this. LGD take the immediate high ground. Oh, get to the base. Get to the base. They're coming. Oh, 10 seconds for run. Oh, they both get chained down. But look who's caught in between. It's poor little MMY. Get him. They're going to go in and they go ahead and slay the line. And he steals the Earth Spike. And, well, they conveniently segue and get this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, LGD are just running out of room. In good news for them, they do finally have 6 on both Faith and MMY, so they should be able to blow up somebody right at the very start of the next high ground push. But I think at this stage, HR might even just be able to chill out, grab a little bit more farm, just completely control the map like they're doing with their wards, and only wait for the next Aegis and the next nighttime before going high ground. I don't know if there's really any rush here. They're keeping LGD completely starved and completely contained. But it looks like they might just want to go anyway. Everybody's still just sitting mid, and they've got a repelled Juggernaut, so I guess why not?
And the game is divide apparently here for Hellraisers. They give him the repel and he goes in and starts chomping. Guy's trying to get maybe a spell steal or a good position to grab something, and he is spotted. It's more of a slow siege. That 2-3 actually pretty low, below a third life already. And it looks like maybe Hellraisers can step back. Roche, we got a little bit of time here. What's the second clock going to be? That's a pretty short Roche. Hellraisers might just continue to pressure and force LGD to stay indoors until the Roche does come up. Only Sylar sneaking out on the sidelines trying to find bits of farm.
Yeah, they do have darkness up, so they can keep this going. There's not really anything too big to wait for aside from the Roshan, but they want this tier 3 finished.
Ooh, Omni Slash goes through 3, but unfortunately Clockwork gets the bad end of that deal, and he gets taken apart. Wow! Stun, AA blasted, the finger flies out, and they quickly drop 2. Yao and Sylar, look at the clean house drop of the rock now. Is going to lock him in place, but not going to do enough damage. Sylar might be able to go on in, but that's a big heal damage. Oh, Fade Bolt Sylar able to get away, plus the Urn is going to save him. Got him. Steps back. Guardian Angel going to be coming out from Dread, and it looks like Hellraisers are looking to turn it on back. Steal of the Blink here. Got him needs the mana, gets close. Oh, Telekinesis still on cooldown. Can't get a hold of Sylar there, but here we go. Yao's back. It looks like he TP's in, but looks like Hellraisers will pull away. Wow, that Golem actually hits him pretty hard.
Flaming Fists, no joke.
Boom. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, he had to jump back on that one. 2 more shots, he would have been down.
Okay, so HR dive a little bit there, but get out without too many casualties. They've got the tier 3 very, very low, so that should be theirs next time around. And they see that fight, they drop the rock, so they're just going to back off, place a few more wards, and probably right around for some items. And Roshan, Gordietz, what's he going for here? I'm wondering if he's just going to complete the Crimson Guard, or if he might go for something else. We'll keep an eye on him, I guess. And with that fight, actually, MMY manages to pick up the Blink. He's 2-1-2 despite the situation that LGD are in, and that's even a decently timed Blink Dagger. So, props to him.
Yeah, he's definitely holding on. LGD are definitely not out of this one. They just need to stall it, and it's not like there's been any sort of base damage. I mean, if Hellraisers really had their way, there would have been already a set of racks down, and they could have been thinking about going on the next one here. But LGD now feeling pretty confident with that Blink Dagger. They're going to try to put it to use. They smoke up. They don't need Sylar. They're going to allow him to stay and farm, but they go with a 3-man hit squad here in hopes that maybe they can lead things in with MMY. A follow-up Sleight of Fist chains, and it could be easy kills for Yao. Gordietz seems to be the target. He's close to a tier 1, however, but there's the jump in, Earth Spike, a blast remnants for chains, burning him down, and that will be enough. Yao's going to get the last hit, and it looks like now they can try to push on this tier 1 tower. Oh, all the meanwhile, they get Roche. Very nicely done from Hellraisers.
Yeah, HR still managing to get a trade out of that, and Aegis with Knight just about to fall, along with the Aghanim Scepter completed for the Warlock as well. I think things are looking pretty solid, but this is the next big timing, really. If they somehow get repelled on this high ground push, then I think LGD have actually managed to find their foothold back into this game.
Yeah, then we're like dead even, and at that point, it only gets better and better for LGD as the clock ticks, and they still have plenty of base to work with. So for Hellraisers, they feel the pressure, and they're back at mid once more. Artez walks on forward with his little Saint Yasha, and he's going to start a chop in here. Gets the repel, and we'll see LGD with the pullback. Tier 3 is going to be dropped here. There is no more glyph, so they're going to have to do something about this. Artez's repel will wear off. They instantly throw out the cold feet, and he will walk away and go right into his healing ward here. Chains was not used by Hao quite yet, but we'll see. As they play it slow, Dread obviously waiting behind, has Guardian Angel, but there is a bit of lag apparently, so this is not one of those times you want to be going in with any sort of chop, so better to pause it out, wait for it, and possibly resume.
And we talked about how important Dread's positioning was up on top lane, and he did a really good job, and I just want to take a second to commend him as well here as they're pushing up onto the high ground. I think he's in just the right place. He's in reach to be able to use the Force Staff if there's a Blink Hex on his Juggernaut. He can also Force Staff somebody out if there's a Clockwork Initiation, just close enough to repel as well. And in general, HR being just doing the right thing. They've put only the Aegis carrier on the front lines. There's
Yeah.
a temptation to kind of put the Night Stalker up there as well, but he could very easily get Ice Blast fingered, and there'd be nothing that HR could really do to stop that happening. So they're just going to let the Aegis carrier siege and do all the damage, it seems.
I agree. The positioning of Dread is so crucial for this one. And, well, they're making it go onto Yao. He gets hit pretty hard, but the repel's still there. Gets a good couple of shots in on that range barracks, but it's still standing. But to go back on the Omni Knight positioning, we just saw a match earlier, Big God versus Tong Fu, and they never got a Guardian Angel because they always easily jumped in and got the pick on him, and I really like the 4-step grab for something like that, but also against July. But there's going to be the upheaval pulled out. Omni Slash flies, and it's going to cut up AA. He goes down, and so does MMY. Rock's going to be dropped. They're going to get Yao, and it's a triple kill instantly for Artez. Oh, the golems begin to wreak havoc on the LGD base, already forcing out the buyback from your Clockwork. In July watches on. All the meanwhile, Sylar pushing. And maybe they figure it's just one Rax. If we can hold off, there still might be some hope, but Hellraiser's not anything they have to say. They want to go right for bottom lane now, so they start chopping on in to the tier 3. Telekinesis catches on In July, and they're going to make the dive, and they'll kill him. Wow, nice little heal bomb on top, but Artez, once again, of all the people to get these kills, the Juggernaut keeps to be bigger, and still Sylar Farms pushes that tier 2. And now they're losing the second set of Rex, however. Oh, goddamn, moves on forward. Colkeep's going to be there, and they take Yao a second time. This might be over. Now MMY might be potentially caught. Triple kill. Oh my god. Hellraisers in their CIS Dota just slaughtered LGD.
It's weird because I looked at the LGD draft and I thought they had... It looked like they'd done their homework. HR had just recently started picking some Chen and Wisp, and they banned a couple of other HR's favorite heroes. It looks like they really thought that the combination of the Clockwork and the Ember would be enough mid-game fight to get them through, but the Ember didn't really do all that well against the Warlock, so I think that was a little bit surprising there for LGD, and just in general playstyles did not match up well at all. HR completely steamrolling LGD, and I think that's also, it speaks to LGD kind of being just a flat line this tournament, really, in terms of what they're drafting. Not that HR have mixed it up too much, but LGD is super predictable, and HR style just works perfectly here.
Got to consider a way to maybe adapt when you're going against teams like HR, this very rambunctious, aggressive group. But props to them. They get a job done. The Warlock looks impressive. It continues its dominance here in DAC. Now what, up to 3-0? That's ridiculous. So with that, we will end there. It looks like Hellraisers are now going to be moving up to a 7-6 record. LGD moved down to a 6-7 record. And we're going to go ahead and wrap things up for Heat number 5. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5, and we're going to go into Heat number 6. We're going to have Cloud9 taking on New B right over here on BTS2. If you want to show some love and support, catch over my great co-caster at Basskip, and you can catch myself over on KotLGuy. Thank you so much, folks. Take care, and we'll be back.